130, sorry, 130. Okay. Yes. Chapter 10. All right, so some people like this chapter. Some people think it's really hard. There's some formulas you're going to have to memorize in here. I'm not giving them to you this chapter, but they're not that bad, I don't think. All right, so chapter 10 is all about conic sections. So sections of a cone that make different graphs. Okay, and there's 4 of them. So what we're going to study is we're going to do parabolas. So we just talked about this. Parabolas, circles, ellipses. Those are the oval shapes. And hyperbolas. Okay? And that's how you pronounce all of those. Parabola is not parabola. It's parabola, circles, ellipses, hyperbolas. All right, and we're going to go ahead and do lesson 10-2 today, which is all about parabolas. And you've done parabolas before because we did an entire chapter on quadratics, right? We factored them. We're not going to do any of that in this chapter, okay? We are going to learn how to find an equation of a parabola given certain parts of it. So how do you even make a parabola? You know what it looks like, right? You know it's what shape? A U shape, yes. Is it a me shape? Is it a U shape? It's a U shape. So it looks like a teenager. No, the jokes are really going. Okay, so what is a parabola? Well, parabola is, here we go, parabola. Oh, let's do part A. And let's call this, intro. Little intro into the world of parabolas. Okay, so a parabola is, here's the fancy definition of a parabola. It is the set of all points. Set of all points. That's how all of our conic sections are going to start. It's a set of all points, and then they change. All of them are different. The same distance from a fixed point. Parabola is the set of all points the same distance from a fixed point and a fixed line. Okay? That's how you create a parabola. I'm going to show you a picture of this because, words sometimes are harder to understand than a picture. Parabola is the set of all points the same distance from a fixed point and a fixed line. Now, that fixed point is called something. It is called something that some of you are trying to do right now, which is focus. Trying really hard. Yes, you are. You're doing a great job. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. All right, a fixed line, the fixed line is called the directrix. Fancy words in this chapter. Directrix. What do you see when you see the word directrix? Direct or direction. The directrix is going to give you the direction that the parabola is going to go. Your parabola is going to have 4 ways it can open. Up, down, left, or right. All right. So let me go ahead and draw a picture of what's going on. Okay? So let's suppose that we have a parabola. So draw a parabola. You know what it looks like. It's a U shape. Okay? And I'm going to tell you where all these parts are. The focus is, well, first of all, do you remember what this point is called right here? Starts with the V. Vertex, yes. So that is the vertex right there. Okay? And the focus is going to be in the same line that the vertex is. And the focus is always inside of the parabola. So I'm going to label it right here. That right there is called the focus. The directrix is going to be a line that the parabola does not touch. Okay? If I was going to draw a line going up and down, my parabola would touch that. If I drew a line up here through the parabola touches that. So my line is going to go here. That right there is called the directrix. Okay. Now, what does this say up here? Parabola is a set of all points the same distance from a fixed point and a fixed line. So for example, pick some random point on the parabola. Okay, there's a random point. If I were to find the distance to my focus and the distance to the directrix, guess what they would be? The same. That's what makes a parabola a parabola. Any point. I can go up here, way up here, pretty far. And if I find the distance here and the distance here, those lines would be exactly the same length. Pretty cool, huh? Do you like it? You're so not even focusing. Okay, the other thing that we're going to talk about is there is a very special line that goes through the focus and the vertex. This line right here. Do you see how special that line is? What does it do to your parabola? Cuts it in half. That is called the, do you remember what that's called? Axis of symmetry. Remember that? You were. Axis of symmetry. That's really good if you remember that, because that's way back in lesson 4.2 maybe. That's way back in chapter 4. That's called the axis of symmetry, or the AOS, if you will. Axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is always going to be through the vertex, through the focus, and what does it do to the directrix? It is perpendicular. It is perpendicular, 90-degree angle. Lots of geometry going on today, huh? Do you like it? Some of you guys miss geometry. No, maybe you don't miss it, but maybe you do. I don't know. No? Do you miss the proofs? Yes. Geometry proofs. I think those were the hardest things to teach. I taught geometry my first year of teaching, and that was probably the hardest thing. So, yeah. Not to mention how much I hated my job. Okay, here we go. I love it now. So we're going to talk about two different types of parabolas, okay? So part B. We're going to talk about a parabola that has the vertex at the origin. Okay, at the point 0, 0, that's where our vertex is going to be. And so we have 4 options, up, down, left, or right. Okay, so this is what the equations are going to look like. Go ahead and split your page down the middle, and we're going to talk about each one. All right, so on the left, let's talk about the one you're used to, the one that you're used to seeing, which is y equals ax squared. That is the equation of a parabola, as long as a is not 0. And the vertex is at the origin. Now, we know that if a is positive, we know if a is a positive number, then which way will this parabola open? Up. Good, you remember that. See, you remember stuff from first semester. Would you like to take a final on the entire first semester and second semester? Let's make it cumulative. I would hope so. All right, if a is less than 0, then our parabola is going to open down. It's sad. It's negative. Negative people are so sad. Now, when you do that and you have a parabola that opens up or down, then your focus, remember that point that we talked about? That focus is always inside of the bowl. Okay, it's never outside of the bowl. It's always inside. But the focus will be at the point 0, C. Bless you. Where C is the distance from the vertex to the focus. Okay? C is the distance from the vertex to the focus. And then the directrix line will be a horizontal line. So it will be y equals the opposite of C. Okay? Y equals the opposite of C. What else? What else? And then, here's the most important formula that you need. You're going to use this with every single parabola problem. Are you ready for it? A equals, I'm going to write it in black because it actually goes for both of these. A equals 1 over 4 times C. That is the most important equation of this entire lesson. All right? How do I erase? I want to erase this part right here. It's not working.
Color and white.
No, I can't, I don't think. Here. There we go. Got it. Okay, there it is. All right, let's try the other one now. And then I'm going to draw a picture again of all this stuff, okay? All right, so our other equation, so that is y equals ax squared. Parabolas open up or down. We also have x equals ay squared. Do you see what I did there? We switched them. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. All right, now, these are a little bit different. These are going to be parabolas that go left and right. So if A is positive, our parabola is going to open, which way do you think?
Right.
Yes, it opens to the right. Okay, it's going to open sideways, but in a positive, towards, like it's pointing towards the positive x's. If A is less than 0, it's going to open left. It's also going to have a focus, one focus point, and that would be at the point C0. See how everything switches? Switches. C is still the distance from the vertex to the focus. Distance, vertex to focus. And then our directrix is now going to be a vertical line. So if your parabola opens up or down, it's going to be a horizontal line directing it where to go. If it opens left or right, it's going to be a vertical line. Do you know how to write a vertical line? X equals. Y equals a constant is a horizontal line. X equals a constant, negative C, is a vertical line. And that's it. That's a lot, huh? I know. That's it. Okay? Vertex is at the origin. So let me go ahead and draw a couple of these. So over here, these are parabolas that open up or down. Okay? Over here, these are parabolas that open right or left. Like that. And now, we're going to find all the stuff. We're going to do all the things. We've got about 3 or 4 problems for us to do here. Okay? Here we go. Number 1. It's a lot of information, and now we're finally going to do something with it. So here's what they're going to ask you to do. They're going to tell you y equals negative 1/16 x squared. And we're going to find some things. Okay? They're going to ask us to find the vertex, the focus, the directrix, and they're going to ask us to sketch a graph. Sketch a graph. Okay? Yeah. No, you don't need graph paper. You can if you want to. I have some over there, I think. All right, so here we go. This is what I want you to do. I want you to kind of start at the end. The end says to sketch a graph. I want you to sketch a graph first. Well, maybe find the vertex first. But the vertex right now is at the origin. So that was given to you. Vertex is at 0, 0. So go ahead and plot that point. In part C, we're going to move it. But right now, it's at the origin. For all these next 4 problems we're going to do, vertex is there. Okay, now take a look at the equation. Y equals negative x squared. So which way is this opening? Down. Okay. If it's negative, it's either going to be down or left. But because it's y equals and x is squared, it's like your normal regular ones. And so it's going to open down. Now, I didn't really draw it 100% correct. I mean, that's the shape of it. It's just a sketch of it. Okay. I didn't really plot any points, but that's what it's going to look like. It's a sketch. Okay. Now I need to find the focus. And I told you a minute ago that for every single problem, you're going to use this formula. A equals 1 over 4c. I'm not kidding you. Every single problem, you will use that formula. So let's talk about that formula. If I'm trying to find the focus, A equals 1 over 4c. And the focus is going to be a distance away from the vertex. That's where my focus is going to be. I'm going to color it in blue. That's the focus, okay? I have to find out the coordinates of that point. I need an x and I need a y. Okay? Well, my x didn't move at all. X is going to be 0. Now I have to find out what y is. Well, I'm going to use the fact that, see this right here, this little length in here is called C. That's what C is. And I need to find out what C is so I can tell you where my focus is. So I'm going to take A. What's A in our equation? Negative 1/16, and I'm going to set it equal to 1 over 4C and solve. Okay? So A is negative 1 over 16, and that's equal to 1 over 4C. All right, so you guys know how to solve this because we spent chapter 9 solving things like this. We're going to cross multiply. So you get negative 4C equals 16. So C equals negative 4. What that means is that is the distance from my vertex down to my focus point. And so that makes this point 0, negative 4. Okay? That's the point 0, negative 4. Then my directrix is going to be here. And guess what the directrix is? It's the same distance away. It's that same C. That's what we learned when we learned what a parabola was. It's the same distance from that line, from a focus. So that's always going to be C too. But it's going to be the opposite of C, right? Because if this is negative C down here, then my equation is, and I think you said it. Did you say it? 4. Okay, don't write just 4. We need an equation of our line. So we would write what? Y equals 4. It's a horizontal line. I'm going to write that in red for our directrix. Y equals positive 4. Horizontal line. Okay? And that's it. You found everything. They wanted you to find the vertex, the focus, and the directrix, and sketch a graph. But this is the key to all of it, right there. A equals 1 over 4C. I could go through a whole proof of it, but I'm not going to. All right, number 2. All right, so I don't expect you to know how to do that after one problem, so let's do a few more. Here we go. Let's do y equals 1/8 x squared. I usually give you nice numbers that are going to turn out to be, pretty good. So what we're going to do is we're going to sketch the graph. We're going to find the vertex, the focus, and the directrix. Vertex, focus, directrix. Okay. Start by, finding the vertex first. You know the answer to this because it hasn't moved from the origin yet. We're still right there. So our vertex is 0, 0. Don't worry, we'll move it. We'll move. We're doing like the basics right now. Okay, this parabola, which way does this open? You have a 25% chance of getting this right. Up. So it opens up. It's y equals x squared, and a is positive, so it's going to open, up. Ew, double ew. Why can't I draw you? Okay. There we go. No. Wow. What's wrong with me? Don't even start listing the things that are wrong with me. That's what's there. Woo! You paid attention to that one. Okay. Made you look. All right. Shush. Okay, here we go. Shush. Now, let's find our focus. Okay? I know that my focus is going to be in here. Okay? Remember, focus is always inside the bowl. Okay? So it's in here somewhere. Where is it? But it's always in line with the vertex. Okay? So that's my focus. So my focus is going to be at 0 something. It's at 0C. And I have to find out what C is. And C is the distance from the vertex to the focus. So have I used that cool formula? Maybe it's not so cool, but have I used it yet? No. Let's use it. The formula is A equals 1 over 4C. A equals 1 over 4c. Now maybe you can do that and you can just look at it. Can you just look at that and solve for me? 1 over 8 equals 1 over 2. Yeah. If you can't do that, that's fine. Cross multiply and solve it. So 4c equals 8. C equals 2. What that means is C is positive 2. So if I'm going to stand there at the vertex, at the origin, and I'm going to go up 2 above that, 1, 2, my new point, my focus, is at 0, 2. All right, the directrix is directing it where it's supposed to go. The directrix is always going to be a distance of C in the opposite direction. So that would be down here at a horizontal line of what? Y equals negative 2. Not too bad, huh? I know. At first you get all this information and you're like, what? I hate this chapter. And then you're like, okay, I can do that. All right, let's do a side-to-side one. Number 3. Let's do x equals 1/4 y squared. Do you see the difference already? Yeah. Instead of y equals, it's x equals. Okay? Whenever y is squared, by the way, in one of these equations, you're not going to get a function. Because 2 outputs, are coming out instead of 1. Okay, so here we go. Same exact stuff. We're going to find the vertex, the focus, and the directrix line. I'll call it DL. Who's on the DL? Nope, you're not. All right, so here we go. Which way does this parabola open? 1 in 4 chance of getting it right. Sideways. Okay, good. Now you're down to 50-50, and it does. It opens to the right. And we talked about how that is not a function. It doesn't pass the vertical line test. All right, vertex still at 0, 0. I'm getting a little bored of this. Don't worry, I'm going to move it in a little bit. What is the focus? All right, the focus is going to be this point right here. It's inside the bowl, and it's on the axis of symmetry, this line right here. It's a distance of C from the vertex. All right, so this point is going to be C comma 0. Did you get it already?
Oh, yeah.
What is it? Oh, good. So A equals 1 over 4 times C. So C equals 1. So that distance from here to here is 1, exactly 1. Okay? So if I were standing on the origin and I moved 1 to the right, then I would now be at the point 1, 0. Y didn't go up or down, just X moved. All right, now the directrix line. Directrix line is going to be over here, and it's going to be vertical. Please, I do mark off for this. If you write the answer is -1, I will mark you wrong for that. Because it's like this. Hey, Wyatt, graph -1 on your graph. You can't, right? You just said no, you can't. What does that mean, graph -1? No, that doesn't, it means he doesn't know how, because what does it mean? It's not a point, it's not a line. But as soon as I say graph x equals -1, now we have a vertical line to graph, okay? I will mark you wrong. All right. I'm going to mark you wrong when you turn it in. All right, number 4. Here we go. X equals -y squared. Now, this one's going to be ugly. I'm going to warn you. We'll walk through it together. This is the last one of this part, and then we're going to move on. Okay, here we go. You ready? We're going to graph and find all the parts. Vertex, focus, directrix line. Okay, first of all, vertex, origin, 0, 0, once again. And now let's graph this. This one opens to the left. This is Beyonce's favorite. To the left, to the left. Sorry, got Samuel's attention once again. I said Beyonce. Here we go. She's a little old for you. X equals -y squared, so to the left. Anybody need clarification on that? No? We're good. Okay, good. So here's my vertex right there at the origin. My focus is going to be here somewhere, and I got to find out how far away I walked to the left to get to my focus. Well, there's that formula again. What's A this time? -1. So this is going to turn out ugly, okay? A equals 1 over 4c. And so to solve this, I have to cross multiply. And I get negative 4c equals 1. Solve for c, so you divide by negative 4. C is negative 1/4. Not all points are pretty. That one's going to be ugly. I'm going to move a distance of negative 1/4 to the left. So this focus right here, this focus point is at negative 1/4, comma 0. Okay? It just happened to be a fraction. It's okay. That happens sometimes. The directrix line is going to be the same distance the other way, over here. It's a vertical line. It's going to be x equals what? Positive 1/4. Okay? All right, now we're going to switch gears a little bit. So instead of me giving you the equation, did you notice I gave you one of each? I gave you an up, down, a left, and a right. Okay. Now I'm going to give you the pieces of information, and you have to come up with the equation. Okay? Still, we're going to stay at the origin. No. At 2:15. All right, number 5. They tell us that the vertex is at 0, 0, and the focus is at 0, 5. We are going to find an equation for this parabola. Find an equation for the parabola. Okay, we're just going backwards now. Okay, so vertex 0, 0, focus 0, 5. What my suggestion to you, and you can take it or leave it, whatever, is to draw a little picture of this, because you have to decide, are you going to use this formula or are you going to use this formula? Okay, there's two options here. Which one am I going to use? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Plot the two pieces of information. By the way, parabola has 3 pieces of information. Vertex, focus, directrix. They only need to give you any 2 of those 3 for you to be able to find the equation. Okay? So in this case, they gave you vertex, 0, 0, and focus, 0, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's the focus, here's the vertex. That tells you which way this graph opens. It opens up. Good job. It opens up, okay, because the focus is always inside the bowl. Now, what else that tells you is that C is equal to what? 5. C is that distance there. I keep saying it's the distance. Like I don't just go, oh, it's 5 every time, because we're actually going to move away from the origin, and then you have to find that distance. So it's the distance is 5. Okay, we're ready. We have everything. Y equals, we're using this one right here. Y equals ax squared. Remember that formula I gave you? Every single problem. So A is equal to 1 over 4 times C. What's C? 5. So A is what? 1/20th. And that's the equation of the parabola. Pretty good. You want to try one? Yeah? Okay. You're not even doing it. Number 6, you made them all do it. All right, find the equation given that the vertex is at 0, 0, and the directrix line is x equals 2. Ooh, okay? So 2 pieces of information. That's all they need to give to you. Okay. All right, so this is what I would suggest to you. Plot the 2 things they gave you, okay? Vertex 0, 0. Directrix is a vertical line. That will tell you which direction your parabola is opening. Your parabola is opening to the left, because the parabola cannot touch the directrix. If I opened it up, it would touch. If I open it this way, it touches. It touches all those ways except for to the left, okay? All right, so then knowing that, I know that I'm going to use x equals ay squared. See, I do that so that I can narrow it down. Left and right is x equals, up and down is y equals. All right, so A is equal to 1 over 4 times C. Well, what's C? C is the distance, yeah, it's the distance to the focus. See, this distance to the directrix was 2. The distance to the focus is going the other way. You might want to write -2. I know distance can't be negative, but we know it's opening to the left. And so my answer would be x equals -1/8 y squared. You did? Good. Yeah? Okay, last part, part C. There's a light at the end of this dark parabola tunnel. Here it comes. Now we're going to do parabolas that have a vertex at HK. So we're not in Kansas anymore? No, we're not at the origin anymore. All right, here we go. Vertex at HK. So this is what it looks like. There's 2 different types of equations. Here they are. Split it down the middle again. I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of information. We already know a lot of it. So there's the ones that look like this. Y equals A, x minus h squared plus k. Do you remember that formula? That's vertex formula for a parabola. First semester. All right, the other way would be x equals A, y minus k squared plus h. That is new. You've never seen that one before. Unless, you know, you're Bobby and you saw it in 3rd grade. All right. Sorry, 2nd grade Bobby. I don't mean. Okay. Now, these parabolas right here, these parabolas are the ones that are going to open up or down, but guess what? They're away from the origin. Okay, they could be like that, or you could have a parabola like that. But what's the key here is that your vertex is at HK. And now your focus is going to be the same point, okay? Your focus is still right above or below or next to the vertex. And that distance here is still C. But you have to kind of find that distance by counting. You don't have to use distance formula. Remember that? Terrible formula, the square root of that huge thing. Yeah, really bad. You don't have to do that. Okay. Over here on this graph, these are going to be the ones that go left and right. So right, it could go like this. Okay. Where your vertex is going to be still HK. It's still in that order. And then that focus is going to be, you know, still a distance of C away, but to the left or right instead. Okay? And keep in mind this at all times. A equals 1/4C. I mean, it doesn't change at all. It's still the same thing. That's the key to all of these problems. Okay? So I've got, like, I don't know, 3 more for you. And then you can start your homework. All right, number 1. Or no, what number is this? 7. Like, that can't be 1. Well, see, this is part B. This is like 10-2B. This is like a 2-day here, you know? All right, here we go. They're going to tell us that the directrix is at y equals 4. It does? Okay, I'm fine with that. Anybody else? You want to restart? No? Better? That's really good.
That's good.
Okay, thank you. Shut up! All right. It's on here. Whoops, sorry, love you. You have all my students. Yay. Okay, directrix is at y equals 4, and the vertex is at 2, 3. This is why I record in 3rd period. All right, directrix y equals 4, vertex 2, 3. And that's all they're going to give you. And you have to find the equation of the parabola. Find the equation of parabola. All right. A picture is worth what? 1,000 words. My suggestion, whether you take it or not, is whenever you need to come up with an equation of the parabola, draw a picture, okay? That's going to narrow it down to which formula you need. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the two pieces of information they gave me. They gave me that the directrix is a horizontal line at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the directrix, okay? Then they also told me the vertex is at 2, 3. 2, 1, 2, 3. That's the vertex. Okay, that will tell me right now which way my parabola is opening. Which way is it opening? Down. Perfect. This parabola is opening down. Okay? The directrix is directing it away. You cannot cross the directrix, so down's the only way. So now what I'm going to do is this. I know that I have to use this formula. Y equals A, x minus h squared plus k. Okay? So my job now is to find out 3 things. I need to find out what A is, what H is, what K is. Well, I already have H and K. What is H and K? The vertex. This right here is HK, vertex. So let's plug that in. Y equals, leave A blank for now. We don't know what A is. X minus 2 squared plus 3. Do you remember, if you start at the origin and you shift 2 to the right, that's minus 2, right? It was always the opposite. And 3 up is plus 3. Do you remember doing that? We did that with absolute values and parabolas. 2 to the right is minus 2, up 3 is plus 3. Okay, so you know that. Now, A equals 1 over 4 times C. I haven't used that yet. Now, remember what C equals. C is the distance from the vertex to the focus, which is the same distance to the directrix. How far is that away from my vertex? 1. I went from y is 3 to y is 4. I traveled a distance of 1 right there, which means that if I was going to go to the focus, I would go down 1. So that means that C is -1. Okay, C is always the distance. It's the distance from the vertex to the focus. In this case, it's a distance of 1 down because these have to be the same distance there. To the directrix, to the focus, from the vertex, same distance. Okay, so now I have everything. This A is equal to -1/4. And that's the equation. Is my parabola opening down? Yes. Is A negative? Yes. What's the discrepancy here? Nothing? Are you arguing?
Because he's doing 10.3 and I don't understand how he's...
Oh, circles? Good job, Bobby. All right, number 8. We'll learn that when we get back. Circles are actually the easiest out of all 4. You'll like circles the best. Okay, number 8. Let's do a couple more. We got to get used to this. Okay, let's do this one. Let me tell you, the focus is at -3, 3, and the vertex is at -1, 3. And we need to write an equation. Okay? All right, it's not easy. These are not easy. Parabolas are pretty tough. We want to plot those 2 points. You guys all know how to plot 2 points. Okay, at least do that. Draw a picture on your paper. Plot the 2 points. Focus is -3, 3. I'm going to label that as F. Focus. And then vertex is -1, 3. Okay, so plot those 2 points correctly. Label them. And that'll tell you which way your parabola is opening. Your focus always has to be in the bowl. Okay? Your focus and your vertex are always on that imaginary axis of symmetry line that's there. Oh, I said imaginary. Did that scare you? Like imaginary numbers? There you go. Okay, so that tells you which formula you need to know. You need to use. You need to use, because it's opening to the left, you start with x equals. Here's the formula. X equals A, y minus k squared plus h. It's very different this time. Okay? H and k, h goes with x and k goes with y. When you have a vertex and your point is hk, that h is in the x spot and k is in the y spot. So when you write it, make sure that the h goes with the x or whatever and the k goes with the y. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to put in what I already know. I already know h and k, vertex, not focus. Vertex is h and k. Okay, so I'm going to write x equals, I'm going to leave a blank, and I'm going to do this. Y what? Minus 3 squared minus 1. Okay, this part right here is the y part. It's going to go with the y. And whenever it's in the parentheses squared, it's always the opposite. Anytime it's on the outside, it's just going to be the same as what you see. Now I have to find out what a is. A equals 1 over 4 times c. Can you tell me what c is? 2. And I would probably write that as negative 2 because it's going in an opposite, the negative direction. So from the vertex to your focus, that's why it's really nice to draw these things out because you can see how far. If I was standing here at the vertex and I decided to walk over to the focus, I'd walk a distance of 2. So that would be, and I'd go in a negative direction, so I would write that as negative 2. So a would be negative 1, 8. That's your equation. Okay, you want to do one more? Yeah, why not? Number 9. Last one. Ooh, I told you I was going to try and give you a half an hour, didn't I? All right, let's say y equals negative 2 is the directrix, and the vertex is at 4, 3. Would you like to try this one? Yeah, okay, you try it. So let's find out which direction this is going, and there's clues too. If you see y equals a horizontal line like that, you know that it's going to be opening up or down. So y equals negative 2 is my directrix, okay? And my vertex is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. So this parabola is opening up. Okay, so that means it's going to be y equals a x minus h squared plus k. The vertex is going to go in for h and k. So y equals x minus 4 squared plus 3. Hopefully you can all get that because that's really not new. We did that, back in chapter 4. Okay, so a equals 1 over 4 times c. Remember what c is. C is a distance. So how do I get from negative 2 all the way up to positive 3? How much must I travel? 5. That distance there is 5. It's positive though, because it's actually a distance to the focus. Like if I was going to go to the focus, it'd be up 5 more. Because if this is 5, this also has to be 5. And you can tell it's positive because your parabola is opening up. So my equation would be 1 over 20 times x minus 4 squared plus 3. Yay.